Good morning students, myself Lokesh, working as Assistant Professor in Vijnana Institute of Technology and Science. Welcome to the next lecture on ground improvement techniques. So with our last class we have completed the fourth unit, that is reinforced layer. Okay, so if you recollect all the four units, in the first unit we have discussed how to densify the soil. There we use compaction and vibration forces. In the second unit, that is dewatering methods. So there we use various methods to remove the water from the soil such that all the soil particles are coming close to each other. So thereby compaction is going to occur. And in the third unit we are using chemical methods, chemical stabilization methods. So in that we are adding some chemicals to the soil. So the chemicals are reacting with the soil and filling the pores between the soil particles. Thereby it is densifying the soil. So and the fourth one is reinforced earth. There what we are doing is we are inserting some nails or providing some reinforcement for the soil. Thereby we can prevent the failure of a slope. Okay, so in the previous four units we have used some different type of techniques to improve the properties of soil. So here also we are going to use one another technique. Those are known as geosynthetics. So here we are using geosynthetics materials to improve the soil properties. Okay, not exactly to improve but to retain the soil properties. Okay, so let's start the fifth unit of ground improvement techniques, that is geosynthetics. Coming to the syllabus, here also we have somewhat small syllabus. Okay, the first one is geotextile. Geotextile, geogrids, geomembrane, gabions, these all are types of geosynthetics. Okay, so the first topic is, let's say, types of geosynthetics. So in that the first one is geotextile. So what are the various types of geotextiles available and what are the various functions of using this geotextile material and what are the properties? Properties means specific gravity, density and all. And applications. So in what places we are going to apply these geotextile materials. Okay, that means the various fields, like for foundations, like for slope stability or for a water barrier. So like that, in whatever fields we can apply these geotextiles materials. Okay. Similarly for the geogrids, geomembranes and gabions, for these three types, what are the properties of all these three types and what are the various applications? Okay. So we have to know about the properties and applications of all these three types. So with this we are able to complete the fifth unit. Okay. So let's quickly start the first topic. Before that, let's see what is the introduction. What is this geosynthetics under? If you see closely, geo and synthetics. So geo means we know the earth and synthetic means it is nothing but a cotton material, like synthetic material. So its name is synthetic only. So here we are using a synthetic material to the soil. So that's why these materials are known as a geosynthetics materials. Okay, here geo means exactly the soil. Okay. So geosynthetics are synthetic products. Okay, synthetic products means somewhat cotton products. Okay, likewise whatever we are wearing, those are also a synthetic products. Likewise, geosynthetics are also a synthetic products where at least one of these components is made from a synthetic or natural polymer. Geosynthetics should not be a synthetic material but it can also be a polymeric material. Okay. So synthetics are whether made with a synthetic layers or with a polymer layers. Okay, at least one of the components. We have the composition of geosynthetics. That means geosynthetics is a mixture of this part like this. We have some compositions. Out of all, at least one component should be made up of a synthetic or natural polymer. Any polymer. Okay. They are generally in the form of sheet, a strip or a three-dimensional structure. So geosynthetics are available in three forms. Whether it is a sheet type structure, just like a paper, and the second one is a strip. Strip means it is having some width and a thickness. Okay, of very small thickness. So this is the strip, or it might be a three-dimensional structure. Three-dimensional structures are basically a grid type. A grid type three-dimensional structures. Okay, we use those types are available. So these are the available three forms of geosynthetics. The next one is geosynthetics are materials made from various types of polymers. So as we discussed, Geosynthetics should not be only a synthetic material, but it can also be made from the polymers. Those are used with geological materials. What are the geological materials? Nothing but a soil, rock, and etc. To enhance, that means to know and to improve or modify. Whether we have to improve or at least we have to modify its properties. We have modified the behavior of various civil engineering works. Civil engineering works means like foundation, road network, canals, bridges, dams and all. Okay. So in those cases we are generally prefer the geosynthetics materials. Okay. This is the composition. So a general geosynthetic material contains mostly these 6 types. The first one is polypropylene and the second one is high density polyethylene. Okay. HDPE means high density polyethylene. We cannot say the exact proportions like polypropylene is about 60% or HDPE is about 10% or 5%. Like that we cannot say because it contains all these materials in various proportions. For example, polypropylene is 90%, remaining all are 10%. That is known as a geosynthetics. Or HDPE is, let's say, 80%. This is the first case. In the first case, we have only polypropylene 90% and the remaining all are just 10%. That is known as a geosynthetics. Or HDPE is about 80%. The remaining 5 combinedly 20%. That is also a geosynthetics. Likewise, geosynthetics is having all of these in any proportion. We cannot say this limit to this limit. Like PVC should be about 5 to 10%, or synthetic rubber should be about 2 to 6%. Like that we cannot say. Okay. If we are having at least one of these, 100% of polypropylene, that is also known as a geosynthetics. Not exactly 100, 99% of polypropylene, remaining 1% is, let's say, PVC. That is also known as a geosynthetics. So that's why we should not mention the proportions. We just say what it is made up of. That only we have to say. So HDPE means high density polyethylene, then polyester, then PVC. What is PVC? We everyone know polyvinyl chloride. And the next one is synthetic rubber or just a synthetic material. And it may also contain natural fibers like jute fiber or coil fiber. Okay, so these two can also be considered under a geosynthetics composition. Okay, so a general geosynthetics have these type of compositions. Coming to the next one, classification. So this is a very, very important one. Geosynthetics are classified into many number of types. Out of all, the major types are these 6 types. Okay, beyond this we also have geofoams and geomembranes and all. We also have some other types, geoclay liners and all. But these 6 are majorly using in civil engineering construction works. If you see, the first one is geotextiles, the most important one. Then we have geogrids, geonets, geomembranes, geocells and geocomposites. Okay, geotextiles means these are permeable members. Permeable means these are allowing the water to flow through them. Those are the geotextiles, and those are classified into 3 types, and they are generally used for suppression, drainage purpose and all. And these are generally a synthetic product, mostly a synthetic threads. If you see a synthetic layer like this, we have a number of layers, whether in a natural orientation or whether it is a zigzag orientation. Okay, these are also geotextiles, those are also geotextiles, but mainly consists of polymers or synthetic materials. Then we have geogrids. In the name itself, it is indicating that it is a grid. These are synthetic products forming a grid. Like this we use it to connect. So the synthetic materials are forming a grid type structure. Those are known as a geogrids. they are generally used as a reinforced material for the earth. So in the previous chapter we discussed that we are placing some reinforcement, okay, into the soil. So in that case we may use this geogrids, or we also use geonets. Geonets are very similar to the geogrids but having a exact orientation or a proportioned orientation. If you see, the grid might be a this type also. If you see, the orientation of each grid should be proportional to the next one or equals to the next one. Like this, it must have a exact orientation. There is a small difference. Both are grids only, but geonets are having some orientation. Okay. Then we have geomembranes. So out of all the 6 types, the only impermeable is a geomembrane. Remaining all are permeable itself. Okay. If you see, geomembrane, it is a impermeable layer. That means it should not allow the water to flow through it. So that's why it is mostly used as a water barrier. Wherever we have to resist or prevent the flow of water, in such cases we use this geomembrane. Mostly generally in case we use during the ponds. It is a pond having full water, but the soil is not a good soil. So the seepage is going to occur, or the water is leaking from the pond. So in such cases what we have to do is, based on the type of the soil, initially we have to place a geomembrane. So the geomembrane will not allow the water to flow through it. So in that case there must be no leakage of water. So that is the advantage of using the geomembrane in case of ponds or any other lakes and all. Also wherever there is a high leakage of water is occurring, in such cases we use this geomembranes. Then we have geocells or geoweb members. Geocells are same as the geogrids but in a 3-dimensional view. If you see a geogrid, it has only 2 dimensions. What are they? Horizontal materials and vertical materials. These are geogrids. But geocells are also having certain thickness. Those are known as a geocells. These are nothing but 3D grids. 3D geogrids. Okay. So geocells or geoweb members are known as 3D geogrids. And the last one is geocomposites. So we know what is the meaning of composite. Composite means combination of any 2 or 3 materials. So if we combine any 2 or any 3 materials, 3 type of geosynthetics, those are known as a geocomposites. So these are the various types of geosynthetics classified. Okay. So let's start with the first one, geotextiles. So before that, let's also see the applications. So in whatever fields we can apply the geosynthetics. If you see, for improving the ground stabilization, like we use the chemical stabilization methods, like that we can also use these geosynthetics to stabilize the soil. Then pavements. Pavements means for roads, parking bays or for runways. Here pavements means we are not increasing the capacity of a road pavement. But here we are using the geosynthetics for separation purpose or for filtration purpose. Like that we use in a road network, but we are not going to improve the bearing capacity or the capacity of a road. Okay. Then heavy duty pavements. Rather than the road pavements, there are some heavy duty pavements like ports and harbors. In that case also we are going to use this geosynthetics not to improve the strength but for other purposes. Then we have for railways. For railways means to prevent the slope stability. Okay. So in order to prevent the slope or to increase the stability of the slope, we have to use some geosynthetics like geogrids or geonets. Okay. We have seen that in soil nailing, after the soil nailing, we combine all the soil nets with the geogrids, right? So like that, in order to improve the slope stability, we also use this geosynthetics. Then for erosion control, wherever the soil is, the water is carrying the soil along with it, in such case we can use this geotextiles also. Why? Geotextiles are permeable members. They allow the water to flow, but they prevent the flow of soil. So like that, only the water is allowed to flow through the geotextile. Like that, for separation purpose, to separate the soil from water, we use this geosynthetics. Then we have for retaining wall and bridge abutments. So for these two, we have, what type of geosynthetics we are using? Geonets or geogrids. If required, we also use this geomembranes. Okay. Then for building foundation improvement. So in order to distribute the load properly, load transfer, load distribution. In such case also we are going to use this geosynthetics. Okay. We are not going to improve the strength of the soil, but what we are doing, we are distributing the load evenly. Okay. Actually the load is distributed only under the foundation, right? But here by placing a geosynthetic layer, the load is distribution for more soil, such that its bearing capacity is increasing. Okay. So these are the various types of geotextiles. Coming to the first one, geotextile. Geotextiles are, as we discussed, these are permeable fabrics which when used in association with the soil. Generally geotextiles are used for the soil. Okay, that is any application, but it must be a soil. So when we use geotextiles along with the soil, they have the ability to separate two layers. For example, this is a sandy layer. Over this we have placed some gravel or clay. In order to separate these two layers, here we are using a geotextile materials. And for the filtration purpose, so generally filtration purpose is used in percolation pits. So we know what is a percolation pit. So under heavy rains, all the water is flowing into the percolation pit. So there we provide the geotextiles in order to filter the soil, filter the water, and to protect or drain. As a drain also we can use this geotextiles. Geosynthetics, another type is geopipes are also available. So in that case we can also use them as a drain. Okay, that is as a open drain to collect the water. Okay. The next one is coming to the characteristics. So what are the various characteristics of a geotextiles? These are porous materials. If it is permeable means it must be a porous material and allow water flow through it. And most used geosynthetics. If you consider various types of geosynthetics, geotextiles is the most usable material. Okay, and they may be either woven or non-woven. These are the types of geotextiles. Whether geotextile may be a woven type or a non-woven type. Available in rolls of 5.6 meters. If you see how the paper is available, like in a paper rolls are available. So like that only geotextiles are also available in terms of rolls of 5.6 meters wide and 50 to 150 meters long. So like 150 meters long sheet is rolled into a type of width 5.6 meters. Then it composed of polymers like polypropylene, high density polyethylene or a polyester. As we discussed, geosynthetics may be a synthetic material or also a polymeric materials. So geotextiles mostly consists of polymers like what? Polypropylene, HDPE, high density polyethylene or polyester. So along with all these, geotextiles are going to made. Coming to the physical properties. Physical properties means like specific gravity. So the specific gravity of geotextiles are 0.9 to 1.7 and mass per unit area. And its mass per unit area is 135 to 1000 kg per meter cube. Okay. Then its thickness. These are available in 0.25 mm up to 7.5 mm. So very minute geotextile sheets are also available. Up to a thickness of 7.5 mm. Then stiffness. Stiffness means when you apply the load, the resistance to deformation. As these are polymer and synthetic materials, when you apply any load, it cannot offer any resistance to the deformation. It will deform immediately. So that's why it is taken as a nil. But actually, its value is approximately for 20,000 micrograms. If you apply this much of load per 1 centimeter, then it will deform. Okay, that is almost equals to 0 we consider. Okay, The next one is types of geotextiles. Geotextiles are actually three types: woven, non-woven, and knitted. So these three types of geotextiles are available. The first one is woven type. Woven type means these are uniform and regular interweaving. Weaving means nothing but one above the other. Okay. So uniform and regular interweaving of threads or yarns in two directions, whether it is a thread or it might be a yarn also. So those two are in two directions or one over the other. That is known as a interweaving. But the interweaving must be a uniform and regular. Okay. Regular visible construction pattern. If you see, you can clearly observe a regular visible pattern, a regular construction pattern. Okay. These are having high tensile strength and relatively low strength. Even though if you apply any high tensile strength, but its deformation or its strain is very less. Okay. See, these are the best examples. If you see, these are uniform and regular weaving. This is the horizontal, vertical. Likewise, vertical and horizontal. So in the olden days, we use the nawar cards, right? So like that, these are available. Okay. Then the second one is non-woven. These are formed by heat bonding. That means you have to attach them with the heat or resin bonding. That means any other binding material or needle punching. So like this, in these three forms, we made them jointed or we made them attached. Likewise, in the previous one, we just interweaved one another. Okay. No visible thread pattern. If you see, there is no regular pattern. These are just zigzag ways. And these functions are soil separation, stabilization of soil, and load distribution, but not used for reinforcement. Why we are any material that is used as a reinforcement must develop some friction. Okay, that it must be stiff. But here we cannot use the non-woven as a reinforcement. They have high strain and stretch considerably under load. That means these are having high strain and stretch, whereas the previous one are having under a high tensile strength also there is no strain. But these are having somewhat strain and stretch considerably. Okay, not that much, but we have to consider them. See, these are the non-woven types. Like there is no visible pattern. It is just a zigzag way. Okay, and they are jointed by heat bonding or resin bonding. The next one is knitted types. Third type. Knitted types are manufactured using the process which are adapted from clothing textile industry, namely the knitting. Knitting means that is the jointing. If you see the process of making the threads interlocking with each other, these are known as a knitting action. If you see a badminton bat, that is a knitted wire. Okay, those are connected like a series in a proper way. So like that, these are also knitted types. Okay. In this process, interlocking a series of loops of yarns together is made. We know what is a yarn. That is a product from animals. So it is a interlocking of series. There is so many interlocking of loops. If you see, this is a loop, and like this is a loop. Like that, there is so many interlocking series of loops are there. Okay, like that we have to yarn. The next one is its functions. So as we discussed, this is an important topic even in our exam point of view also. The functions of geotextiles is very important. So let's just say what are the types. Geotextiles are basically used for separation purpose, drainage purpose, filtration purpose, and for moisture barrier. So generally geotextiles are used mainly for these functions. Rather than them, we also have some other functions, okay, like pipes and all. So let's discuss about this topic in the next class. Okay, so let's summarize today's class. So in today's class we have started the 5th unit, that is geosynthetics. Okay, then we see what are the various classification of geosynthetics, applications, applications and all. Then we discussed the first type of geosynthetic, that is geotextile. Okay, what are the various types of geotextiles? Woven, non-woven and knitted type. These three types of geotextiles are available, and we discussed what are the properties and physical properties and characteristics of geotextiles. So these two topics are also we discussed. So in our next class we are going to see what are the various functions of geotextiles. Thank you.